If you would have asked me my opinion on RIG gaming headsets a month ago, I don't think I would have laughed at you, at least not to your face, but I might have chuckled to myself a little bit and said that I don't think they're worth the time or money. But then I started seeing this headset all over the place, the R5 Pro HS. Coming in at $70, it's not the cheapest headset in RIG's lineup, but it has been created with a focus on competitive FPS gaming. It's light, comfortable, and has been fine-tuned with rigid graphene laminated drivers, and it shows. It's officially licensed for PlayStation, but thanks to its simple analog 3.5mm connector, it'll work across pretty much anything with a 3.5mm port. It's available for pre-order from Best Buy right now and is expected to be available on November 2nd. Check the link in the description to pre-order one. All right, and let's take a look at the design of the thing. When it comes to RIG's headsets, I feel like most of them are over the top. They're made to look more tactical than necessary. But the R5 Pro HS takes a more subtle route. This is a little bit more of like the esports focused headsets from like Razer and Logitech that we've seen. You know, I'm thinking of the Black Shark, I'm thinking of the Pro X2 from Logitech. Actually, a very simple, kind of easy design going here. Of course, you know, they do rotate the ear cups here a little bit. Everything expands just fine. The ear cups do expand as well to fit, you know, different size heads and everything. Has a flip to mute microphone over here. So really, there's nothing crazy going on with the design of this headset. Out of the box, when you get the headset, it comes looking like this with these little snap lock magnetic mod plates, as RIG calls them. These are removed. And so this is just a little plate. It's magnetic and you can snap it on there. And eventually it sounds like RIG will have different versions of this if you want to change up the look, but also on their website, they have a downloadable STL file. And with that STL file, you could open that up in your favorite 3D software or 3D printing software and make your own little mod plate covers to print and design and change up the look of your headset. My only complaint with the design really is the cable length. It's just a little bit short for my liking. When I am sitting here at my PC, when I have it set up, plugged into the top of my case here, it kind of has to rest over top of my arm. You know, it's not long enough to go under like some other headsets and headphones that I've used. Luckily, the cable itself is a noise-free cable, so there's no noise that gets transferred when this is rubbing against an article of clothing or your hands or anything, which is really nice because that has been an issue on some other gaming headsets. And now let's talk about comfort. Coming in around 318 grams with these magnetic covers on, or about 272 grams with them off, it feels very lightweight on your head. RIG has also put some nice deep ear cushions on here as well. There's plenty of depth in there, so there's no issue with my ears resting up against the driver covers, which has once again been an issue on some other gaming headsets. And the ear cushions aren't anything crazy, but they are a nice balance between firm and soft to get a nice seat on your head when you do actually wear the headset. And another cool thing here is that these are just magnetically attached, so very easy to take on and off. And I'm hoping that Wicked Cushions, because they have some other RIG headsets in their offerings, I hope they end up making some cushions for this because it could really take it to a whole nother level. Personally, I find the clamping force on this just to be a little bit too much for what I like. Now, I know that's hard to really dial in for everybody's head everywhere, and I would think that typically this is catered toward a younger audience, I would think, for gaming headsets, so it feels like it's just a little bit tight on my head, but really that's the only thing that's keeping me from giving this a 5-star comfort rating. I was easily able to wear these for like 3 hours at a time gaming and didn't have any fatigue issues. Now, I haven't had months and months to test this headset, so we will have to see how it holds up over the test of time, but for right now, I have been very impressed with the comfort and quality of this headset. All right, so now let's talk about audio, and here is where the R5 Pro HS really surprised me. I immediately booted up Battlefield 6 to test this thing out, and I was blown away by the clarity that I could hear when wearing this headset. Things can get pretty chaotic in Battlefield, but the RIG R5 Pro HS handled them beautifully. In spite of that clarity though, the low end still has plenty of presence. I would actually find it a little bit too much for what I usually like for a gaming. I usually like something a little bit more neutral leaning. And I'd say that this has a nice boost in the bass for a more immersive, full gaming experience. But even with that low-end boost, footsteps, gunshots, and explosions all had plenty of presence, and they were not overwhelmed by that low end. So I can't really state enough how surprised I was at kind of like the mid-range clarity of this headset. For this price point, $70, it's going up against some much more expensive headsets and giving better clarity for gaming. Imaging is just exceptional on this headset. Going back and forth between FPS games and music, the ability to pick out separate instruments and crucial sound cues makes it an incredible gaming headset for that $70 price point. Now, on the music side of things, that, you know, mid-range focused clarity gives an interesting experience when you are listening to music. To my ears, it sounds a little bit muffled. The crazy detailed mids were great for picking out cluttered guitar lines in some of my favorite metal tracks like Mist by Protest the Hero, but it does lose some of the high-end dazzle of the cymbals. Likewise, on another metal track, Hate by Design by Killswitch Engage, the whole thing sounded just a little bit muddy. There's a lot of palm muting in there, and it really just gave a kind of muddy overall sound because the highs were a little bit less, the mids were pushed forward, and it does have that boost in the bass and the low end as well. But that's not what this headset was designed for. It was designed for competitive FPS gaming with deep, punchy bass, and it excels at that. All right, and here we'll test out the microphone. I am recording on the Rig R5 Pro HS. It's a flip to mute microphone, so if you put it all the way up, it'll mute. Put it back down. It is also very adjustable. This whole thing, you can place it at wherever you want it. So if you have it right on your face, it might be a little loud, might be a little poppy, but you can also very easily take it a little bit farther away and get it in a better position. And in my testing, I find the microphone to actually sound, once again, a lot better than I would expect. It's not a podcast quality microphone or anything like that, but it is clear, but still has enough presence to sound fairly natural. It doesn't have the lo-fi competitive FPS gaming headset microphone sound that we've kind of come accustomed to. So actually sounds pretty decent on here. Let me know what you think in the comments. So if you're looking for a do-it-all multi-purpose pair of headphones, gaming headset that sounds good for gaming and music, this might not be the best pick for you, at least not for me and what my ears are looking for. But for those looking for something simple and affordable that delivers all-day comfort and incredible clarity for competitive FPS gaming, that's exactly what this is for. I was blown away by the comfort and the clarity that I found when playing Battlefield 6 with this headset. And my major takeaway from spending some time with the R5 Pro HS is that it has completely changed my perception of Rig gaming headsets.